Verbal roll call.
Leslie Nesmith, present.
Stephen Buck, present.
Chris Steele, present.
Erin Engelkey, present.
Hannah Royce, present.
Ray Douglas, present.
June Elkins Baker, present.
Seeing a quorum, we will officially call our meeting to order. And if you would please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. Attention, salute, pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I would like to note that the meeting notice for this meeting was properly posted in accordance with the Open Meetings Act on January the 9th of 2023. At this time, we would give space for public comment if there have been requests properly made with due time, and I have seen or have not received any notification. Seeing none, we'll move on to agenda item number 2, which is discussion and possible action to approve the pending minutes from our December 14th Citizens Advisory Board meeting. See a motion and a second. Queue is now open for voting. Having received 7 ayes and 0 nays, the motion passes. Agenda item number 3 is discussion and possible action regarding our monthly report and current data pertaining to the Oklahoma County Detention Center from Interim Director Brandy Gardner and or a designee. I do not see a representative from the director's office here at this point in time. We're early in the meeting, so they may be coming in. They may be running a little bit late. It's not uncommon for somebody to get delayed on their way over. So we will move on to agenda item number 4 and come back if a representative presents themselves. Agenda item number 4 is discussion and possible action regarding the focus group's discussion with individuals who are residing at the Oklahoma County Detention Center. I would tell our Citizens Advisory Board meeting that we did make a request this week to set the next time for our focus groups. The holidays kind of threw us off a little bit. We were not able to physically conduct a focus group in the near the end of December, and we're back on track now, and we have the official request into Director Gardner and her staff, and we should be hearing back from them. I want to say this, we're just trying to create a rotation. I think everybody, June, maybe because of some scheduling conflicts, I don't know, have you been able to participate in the focus group meeting in Pastor Douglas? So if I know that you guys were scheduled to do that, and then it was completely out of your control, and Pastor, we've not given you enough time given your heavy schedule. I would just want to publicly say that June and Pastor Douglas, my priority would be for the two of you, to work around your schedules to participate in the next round of focus meetings if you are amenable to that. I think it would be a delight for the men and women who are there to be able to have some interaction with the two of you. And we will get that scheduled around your in a manner that allows you to participate if that's okay. And then for the rest of our board, we will just start with the rotation again, kind of start all over so that we make sure that everybody is able to participate. And I do thank you all for your willingness to engage in these discussions. So thank you very much. Agenda item number 5 is discussion and possible action regarding a report from our recruitment and retention subcommittee. Retention of staff subcommittee. I'm going to wake up here in the next 4 or 5 minutes, I promise. Pastor Douglas or Vice Chair Engelkey?
I don't have anything other than what we had on the last time, so we we have not met, so we don't have a report.
I don't think any of our committees have met since our last meeting.
Yeah, this may be a pretty quick meeting today, guys, which is fine. I would say just for purposes of kind of as we evolve and improve and kind of take the next steps in fulfilling our responsibilities, I would want the board to note that Aaron Engelke gave our report to the jail trust last Tuesday. I believe that was on January the 3rd, perhaps. And she did report out the recommendations that were contained in the minutes that we just approved from the Retention and Staff Subcommittee, along with the recommendations that that we approved in our December meeting based on the input from those residing at the jail. Those recommendations have also been distributed to our jail trust members, and they are taking them into consideration. So they have the official recommendations from our board based on the survey, and it feels like that they were very well received, and with a lot of interest and enthusiasm. Some additional county commissioners have asked for those recommendations as well. And I'm very pleased to note that everyone seems to be not only taking the recommendations very seriously, but embracing them enthusiastically as a path forward to continue to make improvements. And so just want to say again, thank you for the work that each of the subcommittees are doing, and the recommendations from the Retention and Recruitment of Staff Subcommittee have been officially received by the Jail Trust. Agenda item number 6 is discussion and possible action regarding a report from our Community Relationships Committee. And I'm assuming, again, Hannah, as chair, that you guys have just not been able to meet because of holidays.
Right. So our next meeting will be Wednesday, January 25th. And we will be discussing, I'm going to explore with Lynn what potential listening sessions or focus groups could look like, in addition to the survey we'll be creating for the community. So I look forward to kind of discussing that with our subcommittee, seeing what ideas they have, and just exploring how we're going to improve community relationships in the new year. So thank you.
Very, 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 very excited about that. And Hannah, I also want to say as chair and for the members of this subcommittee, at the Jail Trust meeting on January 3rd, Timothy Tardy Bono, who is the executive director of CJAC, the Criminal Justice Authority Council. Yeah,
One of those.
that's right. Cohort. Yeah, the talked pretty extensively about the construction, the timeline, and the construction of the new jail that the voters approved this past year. And I think that the work that your committee is doing is going to be particularly important in short order, helping, just kind of be that liaison between the community to raise awareness, education, to allow input. They have created a design committee.
I think it's a Citizens Bond Advisory Board.
Let's see.
So
I mean,
it'll
10
be-
steps ahead.
It'll be a CAB, but similarly to ours, but Citizens Bond Advisory Board, and majority construction history there. I think Steve Mason has been named chair, other Sandino and some others. So we will definitely, I think that in line with what you're saying, Chairman Steele, this is an opportune time to ensure the community is aware of those boards and who sits on them and how they can connect with them through that process. So we will definitely explore that. And I wanted to add that.
I
Yeah.
think it's fantastic. I think that synergy, that collaboration is going to be incredibly valuable moving forward. I'm glad that you're at the helm. Agenda item number 7 is discussion and possible action regarding a report from our Policies and Procedures Subcommittee. Mr. Buck, I would defer to you.
Nothing new to add. You can expect a robust report in February.
Thank you so much. We look forward to that, and we thank you for your leadership. Agenda item number 8 is discussion and possible action regarding a report from our operations subcommittee. I do not see. I think Ryan must have had a conflict this morning, but I do not believe they have had an opportunity to meet as well. I think they're going to be meeting in February on the same day as our policies and procedures subcommittee. So let me get back here. Agenda item number 9 is discussion and possible action regarding a final report from the Oklahoma County Criminal Justice Authority Committee and focus groups. These reports were received a couple of years ago on September the 20th. And again, we want to keep these recommendations and the work that these committee members produced in front of us as we continue our work in fulfilling all of our responsibilities, including working with the community to reduce the population within the Oklahoma County Detention Center. You know, there's some really positive things that are afoot, and there's been some wonderful news stories about the additional investments that are being made in Oklahoma County in mental health services and in substance abuse treatment services, and the desire to work with law enforcement agencies and providers to be able to legitimately divert individuals who need help away from the carceral system and into the proper forums, I think is very, very positive. I am very open. I don't know that we need to unpack or discuss these recommendations other than just to keep them in front of us as each of our subcommittees conducts its work in 2023. Seeing no discussion, we'll move on to agenda item number 10, which is discussion and possible action regarding the recommendations that this board produces to the jail trust. We have started that process again at the first meeting of this year. We made official recommendations, and we have through Aaron expressed our, and also in writing, but expressed our desire and intent to help be a watchdog and an accountability partner in the implementation of these recommendations, which Hannah, I want to again say thank you for your leadership in that regard. And so what we anticipate doing is, as this board adopts official recommendations from within our subcommittees, and those recommendations are passed along to the jail trust, who has the authority and standing to accept or reject those recommendations, that we would also be very active and intentional about receiving and inquiring about progress and the various reports that are made on a regular basis. So we would the idea of the plan, the goal is to establish a process for that reporting back, so that at each meeting moving forward, we can also receive a report on the status of the recommendations that have been submitted by this committee or by this board, so that it's not just, here's what we think should happen. If you decide to do it, great. If you decide not to, but rather than that, what we want to do is understand not only where we're at and all that, but what we can do to improve on the recommendations, and then also make sure that we are communicating with the community at large how we're doing and the status of the improvements that are being made. So that's all part of what we will be focusing on in 2023. Have a couple of announcements to go over as we round out our agenda. The first is an announcement of our next scheduled meeting for this board. Will be on Wednesday, February the 8th at 9:30 a.m. Wednesday, February the 8th at 9:30 a.m. Also have an announcement, agenda item number 12, regarding our next scheduled Subcommittee meetings, and very quickly, I know everyone can read, but I'll just verbally very quickly announce that the next meeting of our recruitment and retention of staff subcommittee will take place on Wednesday, January the 25th at 9:30 a.m. The next meeting of the community relationship subcommittee will take place on January 25th at 10:45 a.m. Policy and procedure subcommittee will meet on January the 18th at 2:15 p.m. and the operations subcommittee will meet on January 18th as soon as the policy and procedure subcommittee completes their meeting and adjourns. There's some significant overlap in the membership of those two committees, and they're going to be meeting back to back starting at 2:15 p.m. on January the 18th. With that, yes.
Madam Council, may I ask a question on those meetings? Remind me relative to the posting of meetings that if we identify a meeting that might have a quorum challenge, how far in advance can we schedule a special meeting to accommodate that? Because I hate when the committee gets smaller, I hate for a quorum margin to not allow us to do business. So as a committee chair of one of the committees, what's my allowance for addressing that?
Well, I don't know if this is on or not. You can obviously, meet, and if you don't have a quorum, say, well, we don't have a quorum, we can't meet. If you do need to change your meeting time, we really need to give 48 hours notice. So we can post an agenda and say what we're going to discuss and give the public notice.
That's a really good question, and Lynn, thank you for that clarification. That's really good to remember. Any other questions? Any other comments, discussion related to agenda item number 12? Seeing none, I would entertain a motion to adjourn. There's a motion and a second. Voting is now open. Oh, let's do it. Whoa, 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 whoa. Change my vote. How'd they do that in the speaker's election? Never mind. Yeah.
That's why I should have my glasses on.
That's right. Having received a majority of those voting, the motion to adjourn passes.